Om Shanti. Let's reflect for a few moments first. In this moment of silence, as I sit still, I wonder about how amazing it is to be me. I am this eternal point of light in this body and this world that is ever changing. Just reflect on the nature of the body and the world around you. It is always changing. And I, the soul, am a constant, eternal energy in this ever changing world. See yourself a still, pure, divine star. I come alone. I go alone. I operate in this material world for a temporary time. I pass through life, pass through events and situations in a peaceful and happy way. I am going through life, through this world, in a self-aware, stable, peaceful, happy state. This clarity has made my life beautiful. Let me sit in this awareness for some time. Om Shanti. So, when you came here, you probably came with the idea that you are peaceless and I will teach you some techniques to become peaceful or become happy. But what we are learning here is not about some moments or some temporary experience of peace and happiness in peaceless situations. we are trying to understand that the original design of the soul is to stay happy and peaceful, and not happy and peaceful for a short time or a little while, but constant and eternal peace and happiness. And why and what happened that we lost that capacity to stay eternally peaceful and happy. So, I am a soul living in this body, living in this world. But suddenly, the world and the body became a part of my consciousness. And I started thinking I am what I do and what I have. And because all that was ever changing, so my stability, my peace, my happiness was lost. Now, in order to go back to that stable state again, we have to again come back to the consciousness that I am just a soul, a tiny point of light. I come alone, I go alone, I don't bring anything with myself, I don't take anything with myself, then why bother? I just have to pass through life, and every day I am given something or the other, some context or the other I will be operating in, and I have to operate to the best of my capacity in that context. There is no loss or gain. We have to just travel through this life keeping an aim that I do not lose my basic qualities. So I am peaceful, I am happy, I am loveful, and this is what I bring with myself, and this is what I have to take with myself. This state of being of happiness, peace, and love, and everything else is temporary. So, whatever I get here or lose here will stay here. So, I don't have to bother too much about it. I just have to move through life, move through every second of the day, keeping an attention on my internal state and not get caught up in whatever is happening around me. I have to do things, I have to make work done, I have to be in relationships, I have to operate this body, but I do not have to get caught up. So if I get caught up, I lose my aim. So this is why this going through life is a very big art of constantly letting go, constantly engaging, and constantly letting go. So I have to engage fully, I have to be fully present in every moment, and I also have to let go of all the emotions that emerge in that moment. So so maybe if I am engaging with you right now, I don't have to be afraid that I will get attached to you, right? So I have to engage with you fully. But then I also have to understand that all the other emotions that are emerging, maybe expectation or disappointment, or something else that is emerging in this course, has to be let go, because that is emerging from my sanskar, and I have to engage in every moment and also let go of the emotions that are emerging in every moment. So we are learning how to go through life in a soul conscious manner. And soul conscious manner doesn't mean that you don't do anything, or you don't work, or you don't engage in relationships, or you leave the body. You are with everything, but then you do it skillfully as an art, not as an how you feel like doing it. So that is the thing about going through life. And you see, there is a very good example which symbolizes this. So have you seen the boat? So the boat is meant to stay in water. So the boat is not a boat if it is if it is not in water. So the boat's existence is in the water body. But then if that same water enters the boat gets drowned. Right? So, similarly, we have to live in this world. So, the soul is meant to play a role. If you don't come onto this planet and don't play a role, then what are you good for? So, you have to play a role. But that role should not start affecting you, or you have to live in the body, you have to use the body. but the body shouldn't start affecting you. Or you have to be in relationships, you have to form relationships, you have to deal with relationships, but you don't have to let those relationships affect you. So, I, the soul, am meant to stay in this world, but not in a worldly or material consciousness. I have to live in this world in a soul conscious way. And for this, what we have to understand very clearly is I am a soul, I am not what I have and what I do. So, my identity lies in my state of peace, happiness, bliss, power, because I am a soul and I am defined by my seven qualities. So, as long as those are intact, I am good, right? And if that is lost, then everything is lost. So I should know that I am a soul and my existence, my worth, my identity depends on the state of these seven qualities. And I have to keep that intact while going through life, while doing work, while passing through the day. And other stuff will come and go, they will keep changing, and I don't have to mind that too much. I have to work to the best of my capacity to keep things in order, but don't mind anything. So, this first chapter that we did until now tells us about who I really am and who I started believing I am. So we lost our sense of who I am and we started believing that I am what I have and what I do. And that is where the problem started. Now, I'm not sure if you have seen a video where it's I think a Korean concept or something, and they show that in that video that there is a small feather and a very light feather, and on that one twig rests, and then there are other twigs that come and rest on that, and they form a whole structure. And it seems like one twig or the second twig is supporting the other twigs, but then the creator takes off one twig after the other, and finally the whole structure, it is found that it rests on that one feather. It is not the big twigs that are visible that are holding the structure together. It is that single feather. So I think if you search for that feather experiment or something, maybe you will find that it's a very famous video. So, in that video, it is shown that what apparently looks like the support, or what visibly looks like it is holding things together, is not holding the whole structure together. It is the that light feather which looks like the most like you don't even assume that this would be holding that structure together, but that is the truth, and that feather, that light little feather, is holding that whole structure together. So sometimes if you compare this to the spiritual truth, so you think your life rests on these external aspects of your existence, the work, the money, the position, the relationships, the state of physical health, but actually it is the state of you, the soul, the state of your purity, the state of your peace, the state of your love within or bliss within, which is holding your life together. And you can't even see the soul, but that soul, or the state in which the soul is the fulcrum of your whole existence. And if that falls apart, then everything falls apart. So we sometimes feel that if something on the external is lost, then that is loss. But then God is telling us the spiritual truth that only when you lose your internal state, your peace, happiness, purity, that is when you lose the plot, that is when everything on the external is lost. Because everything that you have is resting on the state of you, the soul. Do you understand that medical science today is saying that your mental state or your state of inner well-being is responsible for your physical health. So, medical science is saying that 98% diseases are psychosomatic. So, what is psyche? So, I think psyche is a Greek word, and what it means is soul. So, it is the state of the soul which is having an effect on the body. So every time you look deeply into the truth, you find that everything is resting on your inner state. And then when you think that your external world is important, then what you're losing is your internal peace, internal happiness, because you attach it to the external. So this is why God is asking us to see ourselves as a soul separate from the world and the body, and pay attention to my own qualities, stay in the awareness of my qualities, so that wherever awareness goes, there the energy flows and that thing grows. So we need to pay attention to who I am and to my own qualities, and know that that is my identity. My identity is my qualities. It is who I am, not what I have or what I do. And everything else follows. If you are fine, have you heard about the law of attraction? So, the law of attraction is not what it is made out to be in the world today. The law of attraction is you attract as you are. So, if you are vibrating at a high frequency, then everything good will come your way. You will be in the right place at the right time. You will be with the right people at the right time. You will meet opportunities. You will find everything right around you if you are vibrating at the right frequency. And if you are not vibrating at the right frequency, then you will attract all the wrong people. You will be at the wrong places at the wrong time, and this will all happen because your consciousness creates your reality. So, this is why it is very important that we start practicing soul consciousness, practicing detachment of our identity from everything external, and coming back to being in the awareness of who I truly am and what are my qualities. So, whenever you want to know somebody properly, you need to know 6 things about them. So, the name, the form, the address, the qualities, the relationships, and what they do, the occupation. So, we need to know these things about ourselves. Now, up until now, we were in a body conscious state, and we thought my name is so and so, I look like this in the mirror, that is my form, or my address is so and so, and then my occupation is what I do, my qualities or how I am is defined by. So, when people ask you, how are you? You say, business is not good these days, or you say, I'm out of job. So, we think that how I am is defined, or my quality depends on the quality of what I have and what I do. And then there is this thing about relationships. So we thought our relationships are with other bodily beings. But then God is telling us the truth about who I am. So I am a soul. My name is a soul. And what is my form? I look like a point of light. What is my address? Temporary address, I'm sitting here in this body. But there is a permanent address also, because you have heard this phrase that this world is a stage and we are actors. So there must be some home from which we come. We will learn about that home gradually. And then about my qualities. So we should know what my qualities are. My quality is knowledge, peace, love, purity, happiness, bliss, and power. So I should always stay in awareness of my quality. That is who I am. and I should always operate from a position of my quality. For example, if somebody thinks I am a doctor, then whenever there is a situation outside, they operate like a doctor because they think I am a doctor. So when you know I am peaceful, I am loveful, I am happy, then come what may, any kind of situation you are in, you operate in accordance with your quality. This is my quality. This is who I am. So I operate as I am. And then my occupation is to be who I am and give as I am. So my occupation is that of a giver. I radiate who I am in every situation. I don't seek, I give. I don't wait, I give. So I am a giver. That is why we were originally Devatmai, the ones who give. So we are the ones whose occupation is to give in every situation. If somebody needs support, you give. You give peace. You give love anyway. You give cooperation anyway. That is the role of a giver. And do you know, no person who always gives will ever stay empty or run out of resources, because by giving, your resources multiply. So I always stay in my position when I give. So that is the law, and this is what I need to know about my occupation. And what are my relationships, or who am I in relationship with? This is something that we will understand from now on. So now I'll be talking about who you really belong to. So up until now, we thought that my relationships are with people around me, with souls around me. And that is why we kept begging from them and we kept seeking from them, because we thought in a relationship one takes. So, okay, I will give, but then my nature is to give, but then I have to take from somewhere. So, you always thought that you will give in office and take from home, right? Because home is where your relationships are, and office is where your roles are. So we think that we will be nurtured by our relationships, and we will play our roles depending on that sustenance by our relationships. This is how it is. Yes. So some days back there was this one brother, and he asked me a very interesting question. He said, Didi, I leave for office. That was pre-corona times, so people used to go to office, not work from home. So he told me, Didi, I leave for office at 7:30 in the morning, and I come back at 9 in the evening. And in the office, obviously, you have to be proper and you have to be present, and you have to see that everybody is taken care of, and you can't rub people the wrong way. So you have to be in awareness. And I am in awareness right from the time I leave home at 7:30 to 9 in the evening. And then when I come back home at 9 in the evening, I find that my home is also not my home. And my father is expecting that I should take care of him. And my wife is expecting that she has had a bad day. So I should support her. I should ask her how she is. So where do I take, Didi? I am only giving all day. And in the office, I have to give, because if I rub people the wrong way, or I pile on my expectations of other people, they are not my relatives. They are not going to see to how I feel or what I want. But when I'm at home, I expect this much, that people are concerned about my well being and health, and they take care of me. But that doesn't happen. And from 9 to around 10:30, I struggle with this. So when I try to watch something on the TV, my father takes the remote, and he has his own news channels coming up, or something else coming up. Or I want peace, there is noise at the place. So I don't get the environment I need and I want. So where do I get that? So I said, you see, Shakespeare said that the world is a stage and we are actors. So you are not an actor while you are in office alone. You are an actor when you are at your supposedly called home. So even your home is your office. So you are at workplace, you are on the stage. So in this stage, there is nobody who is your own. So this is just role playing. So you always have to constantly play some or the other role. And if you think you can stop playing your role when you come back home and start, behaving the way you want, it won't work, because then even people at home will not have good relationships with you. So basically, what we call home is just a temporary place of residence, but actually that is not home. And these are not the relationships that are called relationships from which we can seek. They are all empty, so they will not be in a position to give you. So then he said, then what do I do? I need to be sustained by somebody. So I said, then you need to know who you truly have a relationship with. So, who do we truly have a relationship with? So, we have all heard and sung these songs where we say, Tumi ho mata pita, tumi ho bandhu sakha, tumi ho sathi, tumi sahare, koi na apna siva tumhare. Yes, so we have said this to God, and we always sing this in prayers, that God is my father, mother, teacher, friend, guide, beloved, everything. But then, even while singing those praises, we never thought about God as a relationship, as somebody I'm related to or having a relationship with. So at the most, the conditioning that we have today is God is not someone I belong to or someone who belongs to me. God is a source. So he is a sadhan, and he is a means to an end. He is not the end, he is a means to an end. And what is the end? The end is money, the end is prosperity, the end is getting everything material. And then you go to God and you hand him over a list, and do this, do that. Why are you not doing this? You are late in this. And why don't you get this? This needs to be done early. And then you hand over this list to God, and then you wait that God will fulfill your needs. So you think your needs are physical, and God is a source or a resource to fulfill those needs. So basically, our relationship with God is mostly that He is a supplier, some supplier of physical resources or needs. But then the truth is, God is not a supplier of our physical needs, nor are our needs physical. So we do not need physical stuff. So we have been conditioned to believe that the emptiness that we are experiencing, the spiritual emptiness, the void inside, can be filled by material achievements and acquisitions and accomplishments. But that is just a conditioning that we have been conditioned into. The truth is, you are a soul, and the void inside you is a spiritual one. It's not a material one. And that is why when you are trying to fill that void with matter, it is never getting filled. So I have been an economics student, and I remember the first time we went in for class, we were told this opening line that the basic principle of economics is human wants are unlimited and resources are limited. So, human wants are unlimited and resources are limited. So, this is the basic principle of economics. So, if human wants are unlimited and resources are limited, this is the truth, then how do you think that those limited resources will be able to fulfill unlimited wants? That equation will never, never work. So even if we try all our life, our unlimited wants can never be fulfilled by limited resources because there is a mismatch. And the unlimited wants are because of the spiritual void. So it would not be wrong to say that there is a soul, there is a hole in our soul which is as big as the black hole. So, just like everything that goes into the black hole just vanishes. So, even if thousands of your needs are met in a day, you still feel empty. So everything going your way also doesn't give you that elation or that happiness that you're seeking, because basically you are trying to fill your spiritual void with material accomplishments and acquisitions and achievements, and it doesn't work like that. So, when we understand this thing that I am a soul and my requirement is peace, happiness, love, bliss, power, purity, knowledge, and when I come to the understanding that these are my needs and my needs are spiritual in nature, not material in nature, and then I look at God not as a resource, not as a means to physical needs, but to an but as an end in giving me peace, happiness, love, bliss as an energy. So you know that God is called as the ocean of love, ocean of knowledge, ocean of purity, ocean of bliss, as the almighty or all powerful. Yes, we call God these praises and we say, आप ज्ञान के सागर, प्रेम के सागर, शांति के सागर, सुख के सागर, है ना, सर्वशक्तिवान है. So we call out God by these names because this is who God is. So God is the ocean of knowledge, purity, peace, love, happiness, bliss, and power. And when we connect with God, then we become like Him. So we must understand one thing today. Meditation is remembering God. So what is meditation? Meditation is remembering God. And you become like the one you remember. This is the law. So you become like the one you remember. And when you remember God, you become like Him, and God is not depleted or empty. God is full. He is the ocean of knowledge, purity, peace, happiness. So when you remember Him, you connect with Him, you become like Him. So what you become like is peaceful, happy, blissful, loveful, powerful. And when you become that, then all your needs are met. And then you can operate in this world without desire, without attachment, without ego, without need. And then you will operate as a giver, not as a beggar. So basically, meditation means not going out and about, but going in, up, and then out. So you go in, you remember I am a soul, then you go up, you connect with that one, and then you go out and operate as a giver, not as a beggar. And this is how we will change the whole world around us. But for that, you see, people have been remembering God, or you and I have also been remembering God, not today, not yesterday, but for ages. Now, when we remember God, we don't think of God as a someone. We think of God as a name. So, when people remember God, they say Ram, 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 Ram. They start chanting. Now they are remembering the name, not God. And God is not a name. So if somebody keeps writing your name, are they connecting with you? To connect with you, they have to connect with you as a being, not as a name. So, similarly, when we keep chanting God's name or we keep seeing his picture, so maybe we have created a picture and we are looking at an idol. So, we are remembering the body, we are not remembering God. So, just like if you know what I look like, maybe you see this body and you say, I know you. So, I say, no, no, you know my photograph, you don't know me. So I am not my photograph. I am a being. And if you want to know me, you have to know what I what I think like, how I feel like, what are my qualities, what are my belief systems. And only when you connect with that, you connect with me. Not when you look at my photograph, you don't connect with me. So, in order to know God and connect with God, also you need to know those six things which I told you. Yes, the name, form, address, occupation, qualities, and your relationship with God. Because if you don't know these six things, you can't connect with God. Now, I have sometimes thought about this a lot. So, we live in a country where, so most of you are Indians, and even if you are not living in India, you have an Indian origin mostly, right? So, those of you who are sitting have your roots in India somewhere, and then we have all been introduced to this idea of religion since times immemorial. And it's not that this idea of religion is new to us or this word God is new to us. Now, you see, I often think that if you remember a good person, for example, there was this episode where I was invited to deliver a lecture on Gandhi Jayanti. And then I read a lot about Gandhi. So I read around two books about Gandhi before I had to go and speak on Gandhiji. So when I read two books on Gandhiji, I felt that it changed me in 2 days. So I understood the value of simplicity and simple living, and I appreciated the fact that a frail and weak looking man could take over the whole world in such a big way because of his strength of character and how he upheld truth and other things, and then his self reliance and his nature of weaving his own clothes or other things. It really inspired me, and I felt that I could appreciate these things more in those 2 days. And then it made me wonder that if you come to know a person well and you come to know his character and how he is and what his belief systems are, and you get so inspired that it brings a change in you, then how is it that as a nation we have been remembering God for so long and there is no change in us? So it made me really think about this, and I thought that it is bizarre that we say we remember God, and if you remember a human being, a Mahatma, so Gandhiji is not even a Dharmatma, he's a Mahatma. He hasn't established some religion or something, he's just a Mahatma, a noble man, a saint. And then, if he could inspire me so much, or if I read about Abdul Kalam and I could get inspired, or you read about some even people who are, even in the political sector, sometimes people inspire you. So, if I am able to remember somebody of this age and of the present times and get inspired by them when I know their qualities and I remember who they are, then how is it that God, who is called the ocean of purity or the ocean of peace or the ocean of knowledge, fails to inspire us as an individual or as a nation or as a society or as a religion? So, and it also makes me think that, you see, it is written in the scriptures that Ravan was a very powerful, so he was a big devotee. So Ravan used to meditate on Shiva, God Shiva, and then Ravan used to have these long prayers and be a meditator, and he was granted many boons by Lord Shiva, it is said. But then it is said that Ravan continued to be Ravan, and he couldn't get over his Ravan Pana or his, devilish instincts even after being such a big devotee. So why is it in religion that we are never taught to be like God, or God is never taught about it? So the qualities of God are never sung, or we are never taught to be like God or have his qualities. We are only taught how to worship him, venerate him, sing prayers of him, and believe that he is God and we are humans, and to err is human. So we will continue to be who we are even if we remember God a lot. So we will continue to be vicious, and we will continue to have wrong ideas and wrong actions even when we remember God a lot. So this is something that we need to check. So when we talk about spirituality, spirituality is not about calling out to God or begging to God or singing praises about God. Spirituality is knowing that God is the ocean of love, purity, peace, bliss, power, and you belong to God. You are made in His image. Have you heard about this saying that man is made in the image of God? Or God is my father, mother, brother, sister, teacher, parent, guide. So if God is mine and I belong to God, then I am also like Him. And by knowing how He is, I also try and become like Him. I imbibe His qualities. I keep His company, and that company colors me. And when that company colors me, I become like Him. So, when you think about God, when you connect with God mentally, then His company colors you and you become like Him. So, when you think about so, generally also when we think we have a relationship with someone, so, for example, you have a relationship with the chief minister. So, maybe the chief minister is your father or your brother or your chacha ji or mama ji. Then, if you walk into the chief minister's house, then you behave like the chief minister, right? So, because you belong to that one and you are related, so you also start walking and talking as if you are also the chief minister. Similarly, when you connect in a relationship with God, then you understand that His qualities are your qualities, and you also start emerging the divinity within and start behaving God like, or start behaving from a point of peace, purity, love, happiness, bliss, and power. So we need to understand that we belong not to people around us, but to God. And by having a relationship with God, we become like Him. And then we stop being a beggar, we start being a giver, and then our resources multiply. So, this whole spiritual path is about knowing who I really am, who I really belong to, and what is meditation. Meditation is practicing in the laboratory of your mind these truths. So, we are living in a world where there are many belief systems contrary to the truth, and you need to go into the recesses of your internal like your mind. You have to recede into your mind, you have to go into your mind space and reflect on these truths. Who am I really? What am I really like? Who is my true relative? who do I belong to, how do I experience a relationship with him. All that internal work that you do is called meditation. So when you remember human beings, you are becoming more and more like them. You see, if you remember somebody who is in pain, what do? If you remember maybe your child or your spouse or your friend, anybody is in pain, and you remember them, then what happens suddenly? You also start experiencing that pain. Yes, you also start feeling that pain, and you also start experiencing not that state of not being okay, because you are connected in that moment, right? Now if somebody is late, then you remember that person, you start getting late because you are inspired by their quality. Similarly, when you start remembering Baba or God, so God is who we call Baba, and then when you remember God, you start experiencing His qualities and becoming like Him. So you have to think about what you think about all day. So, do you think about people, places, failures, past, future all day, or you think about your qualities and your connection with God all day? Because whatever you think about will start becoming a part of your qualities. Okay, so this is about meditation. So we all meditate all day, but we meditate the wrong way by remembering our bodies and achievements and accomplishments and other bodies. Now we have to start meditating the right way. Meditation is a mental connection. So we are, anyways, having a mental connect all day, but a connect that is making us less peaceful and more miserable day by day. Now we want to have a connection that will make us peaceful and pure and happy day by day. We will learn more about this tomorrow. Let me take up the questions that have come. Okay, the consciousness of being a peaceful and loveful soul gets lost while doing daily activities. Mind gets engaged in work. How to improve that? So, have you seen these taps on maybe the airports or some hotels or somewhere where you just move your hand below that tap, and then there is water coming out, and then as soon as you move your hand away, the tap dries up, and then you realize the water has stopped, and then again you move your hand and then the water starts. So similarly, this is the internal state. So you remember, I am a soul, I am peace, I am happiness, and then for some time you experience it, and then as soon as you move your attention, that thing dries up. And then you have to again, move your thoughts in that direction and then let it flow. And this is how you have to keep practicing until that becomes your sanskar. So it won't happen that you just do it once or twice and it stays with you. You have to keep practicing. Okay. Is it true that a guru is needed and without him you can't reach God? No. God Himself has come and He is giving you the whole truth, everything about Himself. I will tell you how God has come. So, you cannot reach God through anybody. Only God can make you reach out to Him. That is why about God it is said, Tumri gatmat tumhi jano. So you can only be revealed by yourself. Nobody else can reveal you. This is something that we tell about God. So God cannot be reached through anybody. You alone can reach God yourself when God tells you how to reach to Him. So this what we are learning in this class is how God has taught us how to reach to Him. And once you apply these things, you reach Him, because these are the ways He Himself has told you to reach to Him. Okay, so you don't need anybody, you don't need any mediator, you don't need anybody. I am just an elder sister sharing you what I have learned. I am not your guru or guide, or it's not that without me you can't reach. You are learning what God has told you about Himself, and you can reach God fully well based on this knowledge. Okay. So, I mean to be initiated by a guru. Can we not meditate without being initiated and still reach God? You are being initiated by God Himself. So, you don't need to be initiated by anybody else. And God is not only initiating you, He will also hold your hand and take you along. So, all through this entire journey, you will get to listen to God's versions every day. And God will keep guiding you, holding your hand, and taking you across. You don't need any human to guide you. God's versions will guide you. And even what we are telling you in the class is not our own creation or not something that was inspired to me alone. It is based on the teachings of God, which are well written, and I will share those with you, and you can also directly have access to them after some time. It's a temporary phase that I will be helping you a little, and then you can have a direct link, and this is what this is meant to be. So, when there is construction, so there are bamboo sticks that you use to in order to support before there is a whole ceiling in place. But then once the ceiling is in place, then the bamboo sticks have to be removed. Similarly, we sisters help you so that you can forge your connection with Baba or God. And then slowly we will just be a friend and guide to you, not we will not be, you can have direct access, and it's not like you will have to ask me for everything. You can, yes, we will keep sharing and caring for each other, but then you will have direct access. Okay. What type of a picture can be created while remaining God? So I will talk about what God looks like, what He feels like, what are His qualities and everything. So all the 6 things I will teach you. Okay, so no problem. So I will tell you what the truth about His name, form, address, His qualities, occupation, and your relationships are. Fine. Om Shanti. Let's meditate. Sit very still and in these moments of silence, think about who you really are and who you really belong to. I am a soul, a point of eternal energy. My form is a point of light. I am sitting behind the eyes, and my quality is peace and purity. Just remember this. Hold this awareness for a few seconds. I am a soul made of peace and purity. I am an actor on this stage. Everybody around me is just a co-actor. They are not meant to fulfill me. I have all my relationships with God, the ocean of love, the ocean of peace. In this moment of stillness, I feel God's presence around me. I feel as if the energy of love and peace is all over me. I am wrapped by the ocean of love and peace. I can feel the embrace, the company of God in this moment. God is a being of peace, a being of love. His presence is feeling as if I am surrounded by love and peace. Hold this awareness and this feeling for some time. Shanti.